Ever heard the saying, "Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned"? Well, sometimes a man scorned can be just as creative. Let me tell you about Roman. For 5 years, Roman and Everly were the couple everyone envied. They were high school sweethearts who seemed destined for a fairy tale ending. Roman was head over heels, saving up for a ring and picturing their future together. He thought Everly felt the same. He was wrong. It all started subtly. Everly began working late more often. She was suddenly too tired for their usual date nights. Her phone, which used to be left lying around, was now glued to her hand and always face down. Roman, being the trusting guy he was, brushed it off as stress from her new promotion. He even tried to be more supportive, making her dinner, running her baths, all the sweet things a loving boyfriend does. But the distance just kept growing. The breaking point came during their 5th anniversary dinner. Roman had booked their favorite restaurant, the one where they had their first date. He was nervous but excited, thinking maybe this was the night to bring back the old spark. But Everly was distracted, constantly checking her phone under the table. When Roman gently asked if everything was okay, she snapped at him, saying he was being clingy. The rest of the dinner was painfully silent. That night, Roman couldn't sleep. A gut feeling, a cold, creeping dread, kept him awake. Around 2 a.m., he heard Everly's phone buzz on the nightstand. She didn't stir. Fighting every moral fiber in his body, he picked it up. It was unlocked, and there it was. A string of messages from a guy named Mark. Not just friendly messages. They were filled with "I miss yous." Last night was amazing, and plans for their next secret meeting. The pictures they exchanged confirmed Roman's worst fears. His world shattered. It wasn't just a fling. It had been going on for months. For a week, Roman was a ghost. He went through the motions of life, but inside he was numb. He watched Everly lie to his face every single day, her sweet "I love yous" feeling like poison. The initial heartbreak slowly morphed into a cold, calculated anger. She hadn't just cheated. She had made him feel small and foolish. A simple breakup wasn't enough. She needed to understand the depth of the betrayal. She needed a taste of her own medicine. This is where Roman's plan, his quiet masterpiece of revenge, began to take shape. He didn't want a loud, messy confrontation. No, his revenge would be subtle, insidious, and would unravel Everly's life piece by piece, just as she had unraveled his. He knew her deepest, most private vanities and insecurities, and he was about to use them. First, the wardrobe. Everly loved her expensive designer clothes, so every time she was in the shower, Roman would take one of her favorite silk blouses, or cashmere sweaters, and ever so slightly shrink it in the dryer on high heat. Just enough for it to feel uncomfortably tight, making her question if she was gaining weight. He'd watch with a hidden smirk as she'd stare at herself in the mirror, frustrated and confused. Next, her prized makeup collection. Everly had a specific, very expensive brand of foundation she couldn't live without. Roman bought an identical bottle and filled it with a cheap, slightly darker, and oilier drugstore version. He watched her complain for weeks about how her skin was suddenly breaking out, and her complexion looked all wrong. She spent a fortune on new skincare products, never suspecting her holy grail foundation was the culprit. But the masterstroke was yet to come. Everly was incredibly proud of her reputation at work. She was organized, efficient, and always on top of her game. Roman knew she had a huge presentation coming up for a major client. The night before, while she was sleeping, he logged into her laptop. He didn't delete the presentation. That would be too obvious. Instead, he went through and changed tiny details, swapped decimal points and financial projections, altered key dates by a single day, and replaced a few crucial industry acronyms with slightly incorrect ones. They were small errors, the kind that would make her look incompetent and careless, not sabotaged. The day of the presentation, he packed a bag. While she was at work, confidently walking into what she thought was her moment of triumph, he moved out, took only his things, leaving the apartment as if he had simply vanished. He blocked her number and all her social media. Total radio silence. Later that evening, he got a string of frantic, furious, and then tearful voicemails from a friend's phone. Her presentation had been a disaster. She was humiliated. She came home to an empty apartment, finding only a single shrunken sweater on the bed with a note that said, "I think we've both outgrown this. Goodbye. Roman never saw Everly again. He heard through the grapevine that the fallout from the presentation stunted her career.